just to pivot slightly, I want to talk about immigration for a minute because this is another hot button thing we've talked about. So I'm going to lay this out here and I'll back off. What I will say about immigration, what's going on? I don't think anybody should be treated inhuman or be dehumanized, right? But what's interesting is that I see a lot of black people in this country who are up in arms
Mm,
people being deported, which is strange to me, particularly
mm,
black American people. It's strange.
mm,
I don't understand. I don't get it because I have people telling me, well, you know what? All the 10 to 20 million people who came here, I'm not mad at them personally, but I'm like, yo, I had a friend of mine say, well, you being a son of immigrants, how do you see it that way? And I said, well, my parents didn't actually sneak over here. They had to come here. They had to go through shit to, and yeah, we had green
Yeah,
card,
we went through a
renewing the
lot.
green card, the process of citizenship. There's shit people had to go through. And then obviously everybody on the panel who was born here and who have parents who are born here, y'all been here. So I'm like, well, if we can take, if it's okay to just let anybody come in, we have to quantify to me what's acceptable to come in. So for whatever reason, everything gets strapped on the black people's back, and now if we have this weird thing that if we feel that it's okay for people who might be illegal to be deported, now all of a sudden we're not compassionate. But then I'm saying, well, I've never seen a country in the world where 20 million people could come in 4 years, or even the low number, 10 million. And I've never seen 10 million African black people come in because I don't think they will let them in the country. And I
On
think
purpose.
if they got deported and they were black African people, I don't
They
think
would
I
not
would
get
see
in.
any other groups marching and talking about our rights. I don't think so. So that's just my observation. It's weird. We have a weird thing where we don't come together for anything collectively as a group, but we stand up and march for everybody else's issue.
I mean, you're right.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
you're right.
yeah.
You're right. I think that it's easy for us as human beings to get caught up in emotional issues, right? You see something that's sad. Yes, is it sad when you see, hardworking immigrants who were escaping, a crime-ridden, corrupt government, dangerous life, who just want to work, who just want safe families? Is it sad to see them being carried off in handcuffs by ICE agents? Yes, it is. Is it sad when, you know, people are deported who have young children here, children who are citizens, but their parents are being, taken away? Is that sad? Of course it is. Of course it is. But I think as a people too, I think that we can be far too emotional to the point that it can make us blind to our own important issues that we need to be focused on, because we get so hyped up and have selective outrage over things we see on social media, stuff that, I mean, people get more excited and more outraged over uh, uh you know an average police stop than they do over serious issues that are going on with regard to lack of accessibility to healthcare, or inequality in education. So I think as a people, I think that we need to redirect some of that emotion to issues that really affect us every day, instead of focusing on our selective outrage over what we see on social media and what's being perpetuated, on television and things like that. So I think, that's a problem.
Yeah, I mean,
Oh,
go ahead, go ahead. You can.
no, thank you. This pisses me off. Here's why. Now, I do think people should be treated humanely, and I know that they're targeting brown people. Some people are legally here, and they straight picking them up. That's ridiculous. But here's what pisses me off, because I spent the better half of the past year working my butt off to get Kamala elected and get local officials elected, and myself, because I was running for office. Worked my butt off, right? Because I knew if Donald Trump were elected, it would be the chaos it is right now. But what pisses me off is the Latino community They did, or no, they did show up. They showed up for Donald Trump. Okay. So I'm going to let that community handle that. We as Black people, we really have to stay focused on issues to help further our people. Everyone does it, so we need to start focusing on that. I don't have the capacity, I don't have the space right now to even go deeper into what's happening with immigration policy. Is it messed up? Yes. And my daughter works in a predominantly Latino school district, and there's been concerns about students, and my heart goes out to them, but I don't have much left to really dig into that and really feel how a lot of people are feeling. So no, I'm not going to go out and march. No, I'm not. No, no, I don't have much for them because they showed up to the polls for the wrong person, and this is what's happening to their community. I am a Black American woman. That's not my fight.
Yeah,
No.
I was just gonna say,
You know what? I agree with
yeah.
that because I feel like we need to stop acting like there's something wrong with us by saying that we need to focus on that. And that's another thing. We feel like we're being racist. We feel like there's something wrong with us. We feel like we're not being inclusive if we say that we need to focus on our own community. If we say that we got to further the initiatives and the betterment of African American people, I feel like somehow we've gotten into this mindset that there's something wrong with that, which is
Yep.
crazy. Sorry, go ahead, DJ.
No, I was just gonna
Yeah.
say it just all wraps around to the fundamental question, in the sense that, what do we, how can we really do this, and it all wraps around to, we have to get to a point where we can come together, but we are just broken in so many different places. I want to support this, or I want to support that, and it's going to have to, unfortunately, I feel like it's going to be one catastrophic thing that is going to bring us together like it did in the 60s, but it shouldn't have to come to that because we have the
Mm,
tools now, and we have certain people on certain, agencies, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, or whatever you use, and that are pushing this issue, and they have followers and they might have millions, but it has to be a collective group. Like, someone sent me something about, I don't know, it doesn't matter that the guy was white, but he was just talking about how to take down the system economically. And I get it. And he picked this day. I think he picked February 28th. Okay. I sent it to some people and they said, I want to see what happened. And I was making a joke, but I was dead serious when I said, not a damn thing. I
mm-mm.
want it to happen. Everything in my heart wants us to come together and really understand the power that we have, and that's why they do what they do to us, because they're always in fear of what we are. When they gave us a little bit of education, you see what we've done with it. So they know
Yep.
we have that potential, but we are scared of ourselves, it feels like, to let our, not all of us. I mean, we can show it, but I feel like we are just, if we knew the power that we had, and I just feel like we just don't know as a people.
We have to sustain it though, because
Yeah.
we can say we're gonna try to affect these corporations or whoever economically for a day, but that's not gonna hurt them. Can somebody? How long did the bus boycott last? Was it like 3 months?
No, it was over a year.
Over a year. I'm sorry, my bad. But my point is that's sustaining. That's sticking to. This is what we're gonna do. We're gonna stick to it. What we do now, we'll put up a black box on our Instagram for a day. Who are we hurting?
Right,
Change the
But it's
profile picture. Well, for what? That's not
it's
doing
it's
anything.
it's
right.
futile though. That's what I'm saying now is
That's
that
right.
I think in 2025. I know you busting at the seams, Ian. I know I can see you on camera, so I can see you. But listen, I think it's futile. I honestly think again. I think what happens is that some of the times when I say what I said, and I always consider myself liberal and all of that. I always voted Democrat. I consider myself super liberal. What I started to realize, I said to myself, the danger of what I feel has happened politically is we're in an information war. So I think what's happening now is that when you start to talk about um, self accountability or looking inward, you now become a conservative. You now become on the white side. And if you're liberal, then people look at you and say, well, you are
You woke.
bleeding heart for everyone else. And I think a lot of that is noise and categories and gangs. So I think a lot of the arguments, a lot of the emotional stuff, I'll keep it funky with y'all. I'm not going to lie. A lot of the emotional stuff comes from the left side. It comes from the Democratic side. No question about it.
Yes, it does.
All the emotional falling on the ground and I'm going to march and all that stuff comes from the left. But my point is that I think a lot of the stuff is futile, meaning that what are you boycotting? What they did in the 60s, if you understand the 60s and the time, the context, these are the things that people have to put in perspective. What is the context of the time of what they were doing?